as Philly crushed Denver 51-23. Anytime you can put up 50 points, I'll call that a crushing. Wentz spoke after the game about his new running back.
The beautiful thing about what we did today is we were balanced. We spread the ball around the way we did, both in the run game and in the throw game. Zach went down. Obviously, we thought Ertz was going to be ready to play, and we didn't miss a beat.
Being on a team that can dominate and, put a lot of points off on the board. This offense is explosive, talent everywhere, and I'm just excited to be a part of it. I'm grateful. I don't think I could have came into a better situation.
Being 8-1 is what it's all about. I didn't really know what to expect with how stats, all that stuff. That doesn't really matter. But I will say I've always had high expectations for myself, for this team. So we're fortunate where we're at.
Oh, I'd say they're fortunate. Right now, the Philadelphia Eagles sit at 8-1, Nick. Are you convinced the Eagles are the best team in the National Football Conference?
No, I am not. They have the best record in the NFC. They are one of the good teams in the NFC. But one of the reasons we do power rankings or things similar to that, instead of simply printing off the standings, is we have to have some discerning. We have to be a little discerning between who has the best record and who is the best team. And I think the Eagles are a good football team. Last week, I thought the Eagles were a good football team. And by the way, I did think Denver was going to give them much more of a fight than they gave them. Philadelphia was very impressive yesterday. No one can deny that. But there are going to be a lot of people today talking about exactly that. The Eagles are the best team in the NFC. There is another team in the NFC that has nearly an identical profile to the Eagles that has a second-year quarterback who has taken one spot ahead of Carson Wentz, who has a lot of the same factors that no one will be talking about. That also, by the way, yesterday put up 50-plus points on their opponent. No one's going to be talking about them as the best team in the NFC, and that's the Rams. Show the statistical profile. Look, points per game, second, first. Yards per game, fifth, third. Opponents' points per game, 12th, 9th. Opponents' yards per game, 11th, 16th. They both have a second-year quarterback that was a top-2 pick. They both have a prolific offense. They both get after the quarterback as far as sacking the opposing quarterback. But the whole reason the Eagles are elevated like this is because they're the one-loss team in football. And that's just not how I'm going to do this math, CeCe. They're a really good team, no doubt. But are they clearly the best team in the NFC? Not to me, no.
Okay, so who's better than them?
I think there is right now a lot of teams that can be better.
Well, let me list them then, because they only got so many teams over. We got 16 teams in the NFC. List them.
I think the Eagles are in.
Don't do no mental gymnastics. List them.
I don't think there is a clear-cut best team.
Okay, what about the Cowboys?
The Cowboys, I think, are as good as Philly.
Jenna asked, are they the best team in the NFC?
Right. And
okay.
I think the Cowboys are as good as Philly. I think the Vikings are as good as Philly. I think New Orleans is as good as Philly. Okay. I think the Rams are as good as Philly.
But none of these teams have proven it. None of these teams have played consistently as Philadelphia. Who has a quarterback that's playing as good as Wentz?
I think Dak's playing about as good. I think
those are all measurables.
Playing about as good. You want to see the Goff-Wentz comparison?
Yes.
Okay, show that. Show the Goff versus Wentz comparison. One guy's an MVP candidate. The other guy, so they have the same completion percentage. Goff's averaging more yards per pass. Wentz obviously has more touchdowns.
How many games have they played? 9 games. He has 10 more touchdowns. Mm-hmm. That's dramatically different.
But part of that's also because the Rams are giving the ball to Todd Gurley. They're different styles.
Oh, the Eagles aren't running. The Eagles are the only top 5 rushing team and only top 5 in rushing defense.
I meant near the goal line for the touchdown purposes. No, the Eagles are a good running team. The Eagles are a good team. CeCe, you're convinced the Eagles are the best team in the NFC.
This is what I am. I do believe in this. I've watched enough NFL games, and I like to give credit to the people who win. All right? I can't give credit to hyperbole. I can't give credit to what I thought in the preseason. All right? You have to readjust your eye to what's going on. Now, what was the score in yesterday's game?
51-23. And I think they were up 44-9.
And if I had told you it was 51-23, would you have said, who would have won that game?
Philadelphia.
Right, absolutely. Yeah. But you thought it was going to be a dogfight with Denver coming in there.
Oh, correct, I did.
So we're not even giving them credit for blowing out Denver when we thought it was going to be a tough matchup.
No, but the point that
did we not think that was going to be a tough matchup?
I gave them credit, and I said I thought it was going to be a tough matchup. I thought Denver could win that game.
Yeah, there's no one from a consistency standpoint, and that being the Rams. I think the Rams are legitimate, all right? They don't have to convince me. New Orleans, which leads the South. Minnesota. Teddy Bridgewater is going to be the quarterback for them. And what we're going to be getting, we don't know. They have a great defense, We don't know if they're going to be able to run the ball when Teddy gets in there. And then we have the Eagles leading the division. So those are the division leaders. To me, it's clear. Philadelphia is the best team right now in the NFC.
Is there anything to the argument that the Eagles yesterday were doing it without Zach Ertz, who's really been their top receiver, who's doing it without Jason Peters, so Carson Wentz at times is fending for himself, without Lane Johnson? Like, they've had injuries like everyone else has, and they haven't skipped a beat. And other teams have had hiccups when they've lost star players.
Well, without Jason Peters, because since that is what they're going to have to deal with the rest of the year, that I'm not giving them extra credit for that, because for them to do what they want to do, they're going to have to do it without Jason Peters. Without Zach Ertz matters. I said on Friday, I thought he was their biggest playmaker. We all remember the 61-yard field goal Philly hit to beat the Giants, the longest field goal ever to win, at the closing gun. I understand they won the game, but if the Eagles are sitting here with 2 losses, then everyone agrees with me. If the Eagles are sitting, and so I just can't.
But they're not.
They're not, Nick.
You're trying to create some alternate world for me to live in. Hey, Chris, I want you to think that Philadelphia lost to the Giants, who stink. I want you to put that on their record and then say, hey, how good are they? But they didn't.
But my point is a simple one.
What about the win New England had over the Jets? Did you discredit that one?
They won that game by 10 points, not on a field goal at the end.
What about the touchdown? What about the ruling on the touchdown, though? That was a huge play.
It was a huge. You're right.
I mean, this is not the way we analyze football. Well, what about this team winning by a field goal at the end? Good teams find a way to win.
The way we analyze football has to be more than who has the best record. Okay.
Okay, I'm going to stay this way.
Okay. By the way, the Eagles also beat that Giants team with Odell Beckham on that
last second field.
Yep. He also took a PP in the end zone, Jenna. Remember that one?
I'm agreeing with you. You're throwing me under the bus. I'm literally on your side. Coming up, is there